Epstein with your morning flash update, and this update is for the morning, as we're here now on Thursday, and this is the 16th of January, 2025, 8:25 a.m. Central Time. So before we get too far, let's take a look at the morning data. We just had the Philly Fed business activity, and wow, what a difference from what's going on in the Empire States. We just saw their numbers. They were terrible on their manufacturing and so on, yet their business activities, 44.3. They expected a negative number that wasn't as bad as November's, but this is just a radical shift. Same thing in prices paid, up a bit there, but double what it was in the employment index. Look at the radical difference on the new order index. From a negative 4.3 to a positive 42.9. I looked at these numbers and I'm wondering if they're misprints. The shipment index went from a negative 1.9 to a positive 41. And the inventories, I mean, these are blowout numbers. Why, I don't know, but something's going on there. In the initial claims, they came in at up 14,000, but now the continuing slipped back 18. So you're just keeping a relatively very strong set of numbers right here. They're sort of doing that, but they're not really in a manner in any way saying the labor market's in trouble. In retail sales, we had the number up 0.4. They expected it up 0.5. Ex-autos, they were up 0.4. They expected that, and they revised upward by a tenth as you can see, November retail sales number. Then we come over to import-export prices, and they were up on the imports 0.1%. They expected it down 0.1, and the prior month was up. So not really doing too much one way or the other there. Export, we did send out some higher pricing. The prior month was flat. And petroleum imports, well, they were up 0.3, but I'd be surprised if that's all they're up because we've seen energy prices on the rise. We're going to get the National Association of Home Builders coming out with their numbers at 9 o'clock, business inventories at 9, national gas storage coming out, and that should be a pretty big draw. That's what the market's looking for, given all the cold weather that we've had in the United States recently, and that should be interesting. So now the question is in the stock market. We had a really neat rally come in to the market off of a bunch of good data, but here's what the market's facing. Now you got to get ready for whatever President Trump is going to do. Yesterday we saw that the Israeli Hamas situation we thought was resolved. This morning they've hit a big snafu. Whether it gets resolved, I don't know. But apparently Israel had a veto power on a list of people that were to be released from prisons that they're holding, and they have the right to say, no, we will take those people off. You can put other names on that we accept, and we'll choose from those. Well, apparently at the last minute, Hamas has gone there. What I don't get is Hamas has had the heck beat out of them. At what point do you just say, this isn't worth it? And I mean, that is exactly, if they don't do this deal, what Trump is going to say. I can't imagine he wouldn't. It just makes all the sense in the world. But in any case, you can see that you've got an uneven road. You're trying to stay higher. Metals came alive. They were down earlier this morning. Had you been here with me when I was looking at the markets, maybe an hour ago, they were nothing like that. They've come back to life since all the morning reports came out. The dollar gained on that at the expense of a number of currencies still slipping. I still look at the dollar to continue its overall gains. Bonds and notes, flat. So that nice rally that they had off the good information that maybe core inflation taking the market down, you've stabilized it. That's the way to really say it. And you're very stable in the energy prices. They tried earlier to break the markets down, as you can see. And again, about an hour earlier, they were much lower than this. They've since come back. Grain markets, as you can see, the market's breaking down a little bit here today. We'll see what happens. Interesting stories, how farmers got calls from elevators over the past 48 hours or so. Do you want to sell some grain? And some of the prices, depending where you're at, 60, 70 cents higher than they were 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And that's due to the report that came out last week on the supply-demand report when everything kicked up. So it's going to be an interesting day. I wouldn't give you 2 cents for which way it ends up. As I said, I think we're going to start now pricing in the inauguration that begins on TV about 8, 9 in the morning on Monday. And when it ends, what does the president begin signing that week? And what does that say? And that's what we're all waiting to see. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a great trading morning. I'll catch up with you all in the afternoon. You take care.